Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very special episode of Ground of Aces. My name is Ben. I work on a marketing team from Linfield Studios who are currently developing Ground of Aces. We are just a few weeks away from the Alpha 2 release, which means you will have access to the latest developments over the past couple of months. So how do you actually lose in a game, and what happens when these values drop too low? That is something we will be simulating today. So in order to lose a game, your base morale needs to drop dangerously low to get a game over screen. But in order for that to happen, that depends on your individual characters and their statuses. Each of these values here need to drop dangerously low in order for your base morale to drop low as well. But what actually happens when your confidence, energy, mood, or morale drops too low? Now these things will affect your gameplay in quite an annoying fashion. So let's actually start with the energy level, because this is the first thing that will drop when you play the game. The energy level is a product of how hungry your characters are and how sleepy they are. Lack of food and lack of sleep means a drop in energy, and that will have its consequences. So as you can see, the energy levels will always deplete as the day goes on, as they continue to work, as they do stuff. So now the energy levels go down, and at some point during the evening, during leisure time, they will start eating, and energy levels will rise up again. You see that was a plus 20 and another plus 20 for David Gibbs because he had something to eat. And now he's in sleep mode, the energy levels will go up until he wakes up in the morning. So now David Gibbs is awake in the morning and his energy levels are up at 100 and slowly going down for the rest of the day. So let's simulate starvation and sleep depravity. We'll make them work through the day, removing all leisure time and all sleep time. So they will work throughout the day and they will not go to sleep anymore. Now let's wait until the energy levels of all these characters drop low. So we'll just keep waiting until energy levels drop dangerously low. Alright, so now the energy levels has dropped to minus 50. At this point, they will automatically go and get some food to replenish some energy. So the first threshold is at minus 50 energy. So at this point, you can still save yourself. So we'll see what happens when their energy levels reach minus 90. This is when it can get a little bit annoying, because when you're in the middle of gaming and you're in the middle of building things, your characters can actually pass out like this one just did here. So let's see if someone else can pass out real quick. So that, okay, there we go. So he's passing out and he's on the ground. So he's going to lie there for quite a bit and he's going to be useless. You can't ask him to do anything. You can't ask him to stand up, nothing. So you'll be one worker, one builder, one pilot down if you ever reach this stage. And this can be quite a pain if you're building things in a hurry. You need to build up defenses. There's an attack coming in, or you have to send pilots off to missions. So keeping the energy levels up high is very, very important. So moving on to confidence. Confidence can have a similarly challenging effect when it drops too low. So let's say your workers are working right now and they're going back and forth, collecting all their resources and doing what they have to do. If their confidence starts to drop too low, you can see it by their icons. They will change and they'll tell you that something's not right. But for now, they're still hanging in there and they're still able to work. So once your confidence level hits minus 90, you'll start to see some issues in their worker behavior. So you'll see that some of them actually stop working for a certain amount of time. They'll just stop, they'll pause, they'll be afraid, they'll look around, and then they'll get back to work. If I speed things up, it'll become a lot more obvious. You see them stopping in between. And this is also very difficult to work with because you now need to get their confidence back up in order to get them to work in a very fluid state. Otherwise, at this point, it'll just take forever to build whatever you're trying to build, and then that will put you in danger. So how do you fix that? In order to improve your moods and your statuses, you can go down to your props, and you can look at your props, and it can show you which props have what influence on which status. So a flagpole has plus 10 confidence, so let's build a flagpole. So now that you have the flagpole, your characters will automatically interact with the flagpole. In this case, they will salute the flagpole, and every time they salute, their confidence will go up by 10. So Thomas is now saluting the flag, and that confidence should now drop back to 0. There we go. So much like the energy system, if it drops too low, they will find a way to regulate their own emotions. The only thing that you have to do as a player is to make sure that they actually have the food and the flagpoles in order to interact with. Your confidence, however, can drop even lower, which will have an even more adverse effect on these characters. If it drops too low, they will go into a state of panic and they will run around and they will hide. Let's follow this guy. Running away. And then they crouch and hide, and he will also not be usable until he calms down a little bit, and this can take a while. So next up is the character's mood, and this one can get very troublesome if it drops too low. If their mood drops down to minus 50, they will get angry and they will start destroying resources that are lying around. So you can see the integrity value will eventually drop lower and lower and lower until they actually have broken something. So they've completely destroyed everything now and they're still doing it. And this can be very troublesome, as you can imagine, because resources are hard to come by sometimes. And when their mood drops even lower, they would start to do something which I think is one of the best additions to the game so far. If their mood drops too low, they will start to get angry and they will start to fight each other. And they will just keep doing this until at some point somebody wins and somebody loses. Now, we don't really have a health system implemented into this yet, but there will be something like a health bar to indicate who is winning and who is losing. So they will continue to fight until their mood gradually increases, but even here this means that you will not be able to use these characters during the whole time. So now, there we go. Now they're available again, but they're still kind of angry. So last but not least, you have morale, and morale is nothing more than the summary of the confidence, energy, and mood levels. So in a nutshell, it's very important to keep your confidence, energy, and mood at a relatively high level. Once they reach a low enough threshold, they will somehow deal with it on their own, provided you have the resources built already for them to interact with, such as food or flagpoles. When you build props like chairs, they will have an effect like +1 mood, +1 energy, and you can build all kinds of these things to have an effect on your characters. So to come full circle, when your confidence, energy, or mood levels drop to the first threshold, something will happen to the characters and they will be able to do something against it. But if they manage to reach the second threshold of negativity, then they will become incapacitated to some degree and you won't be able to use these characters for a while. And your base morale is essentially a summary of everyone's morale on the base. So if I slowly decrease my base morale, you will eventually see a game over. There we go, game over. Now obviously this is still a work in progress, but the general logic is there that if it drops too low and you are not able to manage your base properly and manage your crew, then you will lose the game. And then you have to go back to the main menu and start all over again. Or load from your last load state. So I hope I could give you some insight into how to losing Round of Faces and what the individual systems mean. If there's anything else you would like me to see or explain, let me know in the comments. If not, I'll see you next week. Take care.